Right after Shen Lang took care of Su Chanshan's engagement party, he returned to the mythical turtle count's mansion, where Mother Jean and the others had come out early to welcome Shen Lang. Shen Lang had been a sensation at the engagement party, a fact that had already reached their ears. Mother Jean felt that Jean Mulan marrying Shen Lang was the greatest blessing for the count's mansion. Then Jean Muzong also came up to greet them, stammering, wanting to ask something. Upon hearing this, Shen Lang immediately understood, asking Jean Muzong, "Do you want to ask if the other author of Boundless Romantic Affairs was mentioned at today's party? If anyone praised you, right?" Seeing Jean Muzong nod, Shen Lang said, "Not at all." Jean Muzong burst into tears, shouting, "Why? I may not have contributed, but I've suffered too." However, no one cared about Jean Muzong's sadness. They were all surrounding Shen Lang, lavishing him with praises and unparalleled admiration. On the way back to the courtyard, Shen Lang regretfully said, "Father-in-law, it's a pity that we didn't manage to drag Jang Chong into this today." Father Jean didn't mind. Jang Chong is no small fry. Even I'm not confident in dealing with him. You've done well to get this far. Shen Lang, you've worked hard tonight. Rest well. The matters ahead, leave them to me. Hearing this, Shen Lang smiled. Father-in-law is planning to seize the opportunity of noble Lord Jin's rebellion to arm wrestle with the monarch. Huh? Then, glancing at Jean Mulan with a smile full of meaning, "Wife, let's go back to sleep together." The next noon, Wang Lian woke up, looking around in confusion. "This seems to be the secret residence my uncle gave me." He touched his aching shoulder. "Seems like I've forgotten something." Soon, Wang Lian remembered. Shen Lang seems to be doomed. Thinking of this, Wang Lian laughed loudly, helping the new government to overthrow the count's mansion. "This great wealth finally comes to me." But when Shen Lang pushed the door and entered, Wang Lian was stunned. "Shen Lang, how are you here? How are you not dead yet?" Shen Lang sneered. "Never has anyone been able to cross me and live a good life afterwards. Your slandering of my plagiarism is one thing, but to defame my wife's reputation, I originally planned to give you a most unique death, but it seems heaven had a better arrangement." Wang Lian couldn't understand what Shen Lang was saying. "You're already on a dead end." But when Shen Lang hinted, "Mr. Wang Lian, why is there a bite mark on your calf? Were you accidentally bitten by a mad dog last night?" Wang Lian looked at his own calf and was instantly dumbfounded, immediately getting up to find a doctor, ignoring Shen Lang's mention of his shoulder being bitten. However, once he got outside, he found himself surrounded by the soldiers of the count's mansion. Wang Lian was dumbfounded again. At this moment, Shen Lang asked him, "Do you really not remember what happened last night? You said you made the Lord of Lu City a cuckold." Wang Lian was stunned, but recalling, "It seems I did say those words." While Shen Lang had wanted to kill Wang Lian with his own hands, on the way back, Wang Lian was bitten by a mad dog. "This might be heaven's punishment for you." The next moment, Shen Lang had the soldiers bring up those two mad dogs, planning to give Wang Lian a taste again. Then, releasing the dogs, immediately screams echoed over the secret residence. At the same time, in the New River County Prefect's mansion, Zhang Ji confessed to his father, "Our plan to besiege Shen Lang failed." However, Jang Chong had already discovered Shen Lang's acrostic poem, but his first reaction was not happiness, but a sense of conspiracy. He immediately sent people to confirm whether noble Lord Jin was plotting a rebellion, but he couldn't get any definite news, so he decided to hand the knife to Wenzheng instead of going forward himself. Jang Chong couldn't help but admire Shen Lang's capabilities. He instructed Zhang Ji to recount the events of the previous night without omitting a word. "My defeat last night was a complete disaster. Disappointing father. Please punish me." Zhang Chong indicated, "You did nothing wrong. Your response last night was correct. It's just that your enemy is too formidable." Zhang Ji closed his eyes in agony, while Zhang Chong fully recognized Shen Lang's value. Having talent is one thing. The key is to have wisdom, and wisdom alone is not enough. To also be ruthless and decisive. Such a person is truly wasted at the Count's mansion. If Shen Lang were with me, I am confident that within 10 years, I could ascend to the position of Prime Minister. Upon hearing this, Zhang Ji said, "Should I then try everything to kill him?" Zhang Chong shook his head. "It's not possible. He won't give us the chance." Has he consummated his marriage with Jean Mulan? Zhang Ji responded, "No. According to our inside information, they sleep in separate beds. Go call your sister Zhang Chunhua here. Let her find a way to get close to Shen Lang, to sleep with him." Zhang Ji was immediately shocked at the suggestion, urgently asking, "What about Zhu Wenhua from the Orchid Mountain Viscount's mansion?" Zhang Chong was unconcerned, since there's no engagement. If we can secure a talent like Shen Lang, what does the Orchid Mountain Viscount's mansion count for? And for now, we will delay the siege on the Count's mansion. Now that noble Lord Jin, who first proposed the new policies, is suspected of rebellion, Zhang Chong believes the mythical turtle Count will seize the opportunity to petition against the new policies. Zhang Chong predicts the first memorial submitted by the mythical turtle Count will be a request for the sovereign to reprimand noble Lord Jin, which undoubtedly challenges the sovereign's authority, but the sovereign cannot refuse. Then, the mythical turtle Count will submit a second memorial, accusing Wenzheng of colluding with noble Lord Jin, and asking the sovereign to execute him by law. The sovereign's decision is what the Zhang family needs to watch most closely. If the sovereign executes Wenzheng, it means the new policies will be put on hold. Otherwise, if Wenzheng survives, the new policies will continue, possibly even more aggressively. This left Zhang Ji confused. With hostilities emerging, shouldn't the sovereign be easing domestic tensions? Why intensify the pace of the new policies? If the sovereign issues an edict, ordering these old nobility to dispatch troops to quell the rebellion in the southern Ouyang country, and then completely exhausts these private armies. Although risky, the sovereign is not without options, right? Zhang Ji's expression became serious instantly. After a moment, Jang Chong, holding boundless romantic affairs, asked, "Have you read this book?" A delicate voice responded, "I've read it 10 times. I can recite it by heart." And she was the first beauty of New River County, Zhang Chanhua, excluding Jean Mulan from the ranking. Also Zhang Chong's daughter. Listening to his daughter reciting, Zhang Chong, somewhat annoyed, hit her lightly. "Why recite such improper poetry instead of proper ones? It's indecent." Zhang Chanhua was unconcerned. "As long as I show myself as a lady of good family outside, it's fine." Zhang Chong said no more. "Have you heard of Shen Lang, the author of this book?" Zhang Chanhua nodded. "I've long been enchanted by him, through his books, in my dreams." Zhang Chong then revealed his purpose. "I need you to do something. Get close to Shen Lang. If possible, draw him to our side. He and Jean Mulan haven't consummated their marriage yet." Zhang Chanhua was thrilled. "So I don't have to marry that useless Xu Wenhua? Tempting Shen Lang, I'm willing." She was happy and ready to go immediately. Zhang Chong quickly reminded his daughter, "If there's a chance, you must seize it quickly and firmly. Don't waste it." Zhang Chanhua licked her lips. "Don't worry, father. You're good at politics, but when it comes to seducing men, you're not as good as me. I'm the expert." Meanwhile, at the mythical Turtle Count's mansion, the content of the memorial was exactly as Zhang Chong had predicted. Of course, Shen Lang was also aware of the consequences. He asked his father-in-law, "Are you really going to submit it? This is directly opposing the sovereign." Father Jean was silent for a while, then affirmed, "Certainly. This foundation was established by my Jean ancestors. Why should it be taken away just like that? I may not be very capable, but I will not be cowardly." Shen Lang was somewhat surprised upon hearing this, but given the current situation, he felt his father-in-law was making the right decision. Showing weakness was not an option, and Shen Lang reassured his father-in-law to proceed with the submission, having a malicious countermeasure in reserve. After Su Qianqian's engagement party, mythical Turtle City was unusually quiet, everyone waiting for the sovereign's decree. Shen Lang found himself in a rare state of leisure, which, without causing trouble, left him feeling quite bored. At that moment, Shen Lang was informed by the steward that Zhang Chong's daughter, Zhang Chanhua, had come to visit him. Shen Lang's face turned pale instantly. Seeing Jean Mulan's ambiguous smile, Shen Lang hurriedly explained, "I don't know any Zhang Chanhua. I'm innocent." Jean Mulan teasingly said, "That's the #1 beauty of New River County." Shen Lang retorted, "That's all hyped up. My dear, let me tell you, all these titles of #1 beauty, #1 talent, are all hype, all fake." Jean Mulan was somewhat looking forward to Shen Lang praising her, but then Shen Lang said, the #1 handsome man in the world, that's real. That's definitely not hyped." Hearing Shen Lang praising himself, Jean Mulan was at a loss for words. The next moment, Shen Lang changed the subject. "My wife's waist is the most beautiful. I've seen countless people, if not 3,000, then 5,000. So, my dear, your waist can captivate my soul. What's there to worry about?" These words made Jean Mulan's face turn red instantly. Hearing Shen Lang about to continue with embarrassing words, Jean Mulan quickly covered Shen Lang's mouth, signaling she got the message. Taking the opportunity, Shen Lang kissed the palm of Jean Mulan's hand, causing Jean Mulan's heart to flutter. She quickly changed the subject, saying, "Let's go meet that #1 beauty of New River County." As for Shen Lang, he had long understood Zhang Chong's intention to use a beauty trap against him. Shen Lang found it amusing. "With Jean Mulan, a great beauty here, how could I be tempted by a title that's been hyped up?" However, when Shen Lang met Zhang Chanhua, he was immediately astonished. This lady isn't hyped up. She ranks by genuine merit. Her appearance is indeed impressive. Every one of her movements, every expression, is like textbook standard. Truly a lady of good family, truly the demeanor of a talented woman. And when Zhang Chanhua saw Shen Lang for the first time, she was equally astonished. "I've seen many handsome men, but someone as handsome as him is really rare." Upon seeing Shen Lang staring intently at Zhang Chanhua, Jean Mulan was already quite annoyed, but then Zhang Chanhua suddenly took Jean Mulan's hand, calling her sister and enthusiastically praising Jean Mulan, while belittling herself. However, Jean Mulan was not swayed. "Why have you come today, and specifically to see my husband, Shen Lang?" Zhang Chanhua explained. Perhaps the servant misunderstood. "I said I wanted to see Mr. and Mrs. Shen Lang. As for my purpose, it's because I've come across something wonderful, a perfume extracted from iceberg snow lotuses. I specifically brought it for you, sister, believing it would be wasted on myself." Following this, the two equally beautiful women entered into casual conversation. Throughout, Zhang Chanhua did not speak a single word to Shen Lang, nor did she glance at him, leaving Shen Lang somewhat puzzled. Wasn't she supposed to use a beauty trap on me? Before long, Jean Mulan directly asked, "Miss Zhang Chanhua, do you have any other matters?" clearly implying it was time for her to leave. Zhang Chanhua meticulously performed a farewell courtesy. "No, that's all. I just missed my sister and came to visit." Before leaving, Zhang Chanhua suddenly said, "By the way, sister, I recently wrote a poem. Could you critique it for me? Please don't laugh if it's poorly poorly written. Jean Mulan straightforwardly admitted she didn't understand poetry, growing increasingly displeased with Zhang Chunhua. Zhang Chunhua indicated, "It's okay, I just wrote it casually." Then Zhang Chunhua recited the poem, gazing northward atop the invite, deep in mist and rain. Turning back, I lament the ugly moon at the sky's edge. With you, I'm separated as if by the distance of Wu and you. Pillows of jade mark the times of our parting. At night, I wander to the spear gate, feeling melancholy, yet I circle the corridors, sleeping alone once more. Past days are but empty memories. My soul returns to the desolate bridge, my spirit to the spring. After finishing, Zhang Chunhua looked at Jean Mulan full of expectation. "How do you think of it, sister?" Jean Mulan, at a loss for words, politely responded, "It's quite good." Zhang Chunhua thanked Jean Mulan for the compliment, and then she left. Shen Lang listened to Jean Mulan wondering, why would she write such a chaotic poem? But Shen Lang realized, it was an acrostic poem. The hidden message was, inviting you to meet at the covered bridge during the hour of Cho, 1 to 3 a.m. At the covered bridge, not far away, in the deep of night, a lone man and woman. Shen Lang quickly stopped himself from thinking further, worrying it might not pass censorship. That vixen is indeed tempting, but if I really went, I'd become a laughingstock. How could I be easily seduced by a mere girl? He immediately went to Jean Mulan's room, sharing the acrostic poem with her. "My dear, this is serious. That shameless vixen, Zhang Chunhua, is actually trying to seduce me." Unexpectedly, Shen Lang noticed a piece of paper on Jean Mulan's desk. Realizing his wife had already discovered the acrostic poem, Shen Lang, breaking out in a cold sweat, pretended to be upright. "My dear, do you see how decent and faithful I am?" Jean Mulan countered, "If you hadn't thought about it, why would you write down the poem? How did you discover the hidden message? It shows you still paid her attention. You still had fanciful thoughts." Seeing Shen Lang looking as if he was about to cry, Jean Mulan smiled and gently kissed his cheek. "Consider yourself good." Meanwhile, back at the Zhang family mansion, a maid asked, "Weren't you supposed to invite young Master Shen Lang to the covered bridge? Why haven't you left?" Zhang Chunhua smiled slightly. "He won't come. If he actually did, I would have lost respect for him." The maid was confused. "Then why invite him?" Zhang Chunhua confidently said, "Just to tease him a bit, to test Shen Lang's character, and to let Jean Mulan know I'm planning to steal her man." I really hope Jean Mulan would explode with anger. I hope she's a truly upright woman. Although he didn't get to meet with Zhang Chunhua, Shen Lang encountered something much better. It turns out Big Fool woke up, making Shen Lang extremely happy. At the same time, Big Fool's physical constitution left Shen Lang secretly astonished. Having been so severely injured before, he had nearly fully recovered in less than half a month. At this moment, Shen Lang cleared his throat. "Don't call me second fool anymore. You should call me young master." "Okay, second fool." Shen Lang was speechless. "Call me young master, not second fool." "No problem, second fool." Jean Mulan couldn't help but laugh, then corrected Big Fool. "From now on, call him young master Shen Lang. Understand?" This time Big Fool didn't get it wrong, which made Shen Lang furious, doubting this gorilla is feigning stupidity. Then Big Fool asked Jean Mulan, "Where are my father and mother?" Jean Mulan responded, "They've gone on a long trip. You can live here from now on. Many people want to bully Shen Lang, and he needs your protection." Big Fool stood up abruptly. He didn't want to live at someone else's place, but hearing that someone wanted to bully Shen Lang, that was unacceptable. Who wants to bully second fool? They can hit me, but they cannot hit second fool. Actually, Shen Lang has never known why Big Fool has been so good to him since childhood. The reason is quite simple. From a young age, no one ever gave Big Fool candy nor wanted to play with him. Only Shen Lang was willing. For someone in loneliness and cold, a bit of sweetness is enough to be cherished for a lifetime. Moments later, in Jean Mulan's room, Jean Mulan planned to test Big Fool's bones tomorrow, suspecting he has great martial arts talent. Shen Lang also looked forward to it, suddenly feeling, wait, isn't this the talent of a protagonist? Why don't I have it? Tomorrow, I'll test myself too. Shen Lang, must have an even more incredible talent. I must be a once-in-a-century, no, once-in-a-millennium martial prodigy. Then Jean Mulan issued a hint it was time to leave. "Husband, it's getting late, time to rest." Shen Lang, back in his own room, was quite bored, but suddenly he heard the sound of water, immediately making him curious. Could Jean Mulan be taking a bath? Shen Lang started to debate whether or not to peek, but 2 minutes later, he was already climbing the wall, prepared to spy. He even brought a book with him, thinking if caught, he'd claim he was just reading under the moonlight. He caught sight of Jean Mulan heading towards the bathroom, nearly causing him to faint from the shock. Just then, a loud and urgent voice called out, "By the sovereign's decree, Shen Lang, receive the order." Startled, Shen Lang dropped the book, which immediately made Jean Mulan turn and look, leading to a direct eye contact with Shen Lang up on the wall. Shen Lang panicked, thinking, "I'm dead." The two locked eyes silently for a long while, until Jean Mulan finally reacted and quickly returned to her room. Shen Lang didn't understand why Jean Mulan didn't scold him. All he wanted now was to escape quickly. Soon after, Shen Lang arrived in the Count's mansion's hall, meeting the eunuch who came from the capital. The eunuch was displeased with Shen Lang for making him wait. "Master Shen, you take your sweet time with the sovereign's decree, making me wait so long." Shen Lang hurriedly offered a pouch of money. "Please calm your anger, eunuch. Take this money for tea." The eunuch felt the heavy pouch, finding at least 100 gold coins inside. He didn't expect expect Shen Lang to be so generous, but sneered inwardly, thinking money can save you from disgrace. Then the eunuch read the sovereign's decree. On this auspicious day, Shen Lang is recognized for his meritorious service in exposing Sha Jin's rebellion, hereby granted the title of Imperial Academy Scholar. Jin Mulan, upon hearing this, instantly turned cold, granting him the title of Imperial Academy Scholar. Is this to humiliate my husband? The Imperial Academy was meant for those who couldn't pass the civil examinations but still sought official titles. It was originally for noble and official sons. Later even businessmen's sons got in through connections, causing discontent among the nobles. Unable to ignore the substantial benefits from the fees these merchants' sons paid for fame, the Imperial College was established for noble sons, and the Imperial Academy thus became a diploma mill for the wealthy. It was now the lowest rung in the academic hierarchy. With Shen Lang's accomplishments of saving Princess Ning Luo and exposing noble Lord Jin's conspiracy, being granted the title of Imperial Academy Scholar was a slap in the face to the mythical Turtle Count's mansion, along with the obligation to express gratitude. Shen Lang remarked, "We don't have much time left for peace, maybe 5 or 6 days of quiet at most." As he spoke, Shen Lang began to admire himself again. "I, a person of kindness, dislike nothing more than to retaliate and harm others. It's this world that has forced me to change." But before he could say much more, Jin Mulan and Father Jin had already disappeared, leaving Shen Lang in frustration. My eloquent speech wasn't even finished. The next night, Shen Lang noticed the light in Jin Mulan's bathing loft was on. This time, Shen Lang was bolder, coming outside intending to peek. Just as he was about to look in, the window slammed shut. Shen Lang was infuriated. "Jin Mulan, how could you do this to me? What do you mean by this? It's too much." So, the next morning, Shen Lang slammed his hand on the table. "I'm not eating." Then he confronted Jin Mulan. "Mulan, do you despise me because I come from a humble background?" Jin Mulan hurriedly said that wasn't the case. Shen Lang continued to ask, "Is it because you think I'm greedy for wealth and status, coming to your house to live off you?" Jin Mulan quickly clarified, "How could that be? My husband, don't think too much." But Shen Lang didn't stop, asking Jin Mulan again, "Or is it because I'm weak, don't know martial arts, have no title, and am unworthy in your eyes?" Jin Mulan, confused about what was wrong with Shen Lang, cautiously approached him. "My husband, I really like you. Did I accidentally make you misunderstand something?" At these words, Shen Lang loudly questioned Jin Mulan, "If you don't despise me, then why did you close the window when you were bathing? Do you think I would peep? Do you think I'm morally corrupt? Is there no trust between us as husband and wife?" Finally, Jin Mulan understood what was bothering Shen Lang. She clenched her fist, preparing to loosen Shen Lang's muscles a bit. "I haven't even settled the score with Shen Lang, and now he's making counter-accusations." Following that, Shen Lang's screams echoed throughout the Count's mansion. After breakfast, the results of Big Fool's bone testing finally came out. One of the top 6 martial arts experts in the Yu Kingdom confirmed Big Fool was a martial prodigy seen once in a century, with even higher talent than Jin Mulan. Shen Lang eagerly asked the expert to assess him. "Great master, could you see if I'm a once-in-a-millennium martial arts genius?" The expert looked at Shen Lang for a while, embarrassed to speak the truth. He diplomatically said, "Inscrutable, truly inscrutable. Even a master like me cannot see through." With the expert's confirmation, Shen Lang laughed triumphantly, leaving the expert speechless. After being affirmed by the expert, Shen Lang declared to Jin Mulan, "My dear, I want to practice martial arts." Upon learning of Shen Lang's intention to practice martial arts, Jin Mulan was very happy, unaware that Shen Lang's purpose for practicing martial arts was for revenge, planning to torment Jin Mulan 100 times over. Of course, he claimed noble intentions. "My aim in practicing martial arts is, of course, to protect my dear wife, as well as my mother-in-law and father-in-law." Hearing this, Jin Mulan asked Shen Lang, "Oh, then do you have any specific goals and requirements?" Shen Lang looked up at a 45-degree angle and stated firmly, "My requirement is simple. Practice for half an hour every day. No need to overexert myself. Within a year, I'll be able to defeat a certain powerful enemy." Jin Mulan suspected that the enemy was herself. Shen Lang quickly assured her it was not, diverting the topic. "My main reason for wanting to practice martial arts is because the Grandmaster said I was inscrutable and completely impenetrable. Only a 1 in 10,000 martial arts prodigy would be indiscernible to a Grandmaster." An hour later, Shen Lang was trembling and lying on the ground, his soul seemingly ready to ascend. He hadn't expected that just holding a horse stance would defeat him so thoroughly. Let whoever wants to practice martial arts do it. Faced with Jin Mulan's desire to continue, Shen Lang hurriedly claimed he had something else to do, putting off martial arts practice for another time. Meanwhile, at the prefect's mansion, Inspector Li Wenzheng was having a hard time in prison, filled with fear every day. Finally, the imperial decree arrived, read by the same eunuch. By the sovereign's command, Li Wenzheng, for his dissolute behavior and misconduct, is fined 1 year's salary as a warning to others. So decreed. Li Wenzheng was stunned, unresponsive even as his shackles were removed, for the punishment was surprisingly light. He had thought his death was certain. Quickly coming to his senses, Li Wenzheng felt as if great fortune was beckoning. "The monarch values me so much. I am destined for high status and power." Zhang Ji, also came to congratulate Li Wenzheng, ordering people to bathe and dress him, and Li Wenzheng's demeanor became more defiant. "I will take my revenge fiercely. Shen Lang, Jin Milan, you are doomed." Meanwhile, inside the Count's mansion, Father Jin was furious, clearly having learned that not only had Li Wenzheng not died, but his official position and honor had not been stripped away. This indicated that the new policies would not only continue but also intensify. Father Jin was uncontrollable with anger. "My family's legacy wasn't granted by the sovereign. It was fought for with the blood of the Jin ancestors." Shen Lang urged his father-in-law to remain calm. "I was already given the title of an Imperial Academy student before. This outcome was to be expected. Can you assure me that you can preserve our ancestors' legacy?" Shen Lang confidently affirmed that they could. Father Jin, filled with worry, said, "After all, we are within your kingdom. Once the sovereign sets his sights on us." Shen Lang remained composed. "I have already prepared a countermeasure. Father-in-law, we will not lose. Just make some preparations. Li Wenzheng will soon come after us. Tonight, we will put an end to this mad dog." As if on cue, the steward reported Li Wenzheng was coming with troops to arrest someone. Outside the Count's mansion, Father Jin confronted Li Wenzheng. "Inspector Li, what brings you here with such a force?" "To arrest Jin Milan." Li Wenzheng responded indifferently. Father Jin exploded in anger. "What crime has my daughter committed that requires you to come with troops to arrest her?" Li Wenzheng sneered. "What crime?" "Causing death by disturbance." This statement caused an uproar among the onlookers. The mythical turtle Count was known for cherishing his people. Li Wenzheng then declared, "Under Jin Milan's command, the cavalry disregarded the law, galloping through the streets, injuring 13 civilians and killing 5. As he said this, he had the injured and dead brought forward. Shen Lang cursed internally. "Bastard, Li Wenzheng is ruthless. To enforce the law through such a setup, he actually harmed civilians and then framed the Count's mansion." Jin Milan stepped forward and asked, "Where are my cavalry?" Li Wenzheng chuckled. "Trampling innocent civilians in the streets. They've already been arrested. After reporting to the prefect and the governor, they will all be executed." Shen Lang's gaze sharpened. "The cavalry of the Count's mansion are always cautious. When I deliberately tried to provoke Jin Milan, I only ended up with minor injuries. The claim of death by collision is utterly unbelievable." Li Wenzheng proceeded to take Jin Milan away. "As a general, she must bear joint responsibility." Li Wenzheng's laughter was filled with satisfaction. "It feels so good. After being scared for over 10 days, I can finally take my revenge." He continued to threaten Jin Milan. "If you don't come with us, and something happens to your cavalry, don't blame me." And among those cavalry leaders is a woman. Shen Lang had met that cavalry leader, named Jin Sword Lady, a most loyal family retainer. Jin Sword Lady was highly skilled in martial arts, but was very shy, blushing every time she saw Shen Lang. The consequence of a female general falling into enemy hands, if not rescued promptly, could be dire. Jin Milan truly loved her troops as her own, especially since Jin Sword Lady was her confidant. As Jin Milan was about to step forward, Shen Lang stood in front of her, melting her heart in an instant. Shen Lang then began to taunt Li Wenzheng. "Brotherly, haven't you learned your lesson? Do you want to make your parents mourn their child?" Li Wenzheng disdainfully replied to Shen Lang, "Have you ever heard the saying, in the face of absolute power, all schemes and tricks will be crushed?" However, Shen Lang acted as if he hadn't heard. "Ah, Li Wenzheng, you'd better run. They're coming for you. Someone went to the prefect's mansion 3 hours ago, but it was empty. Now they're heading towards the mythical Turtle City." Li Wenzheng was momentarily stunned, not understanding Shen Lang's gibberish. Shen Lang spread his hands. "Li Wenzheng, you're done for. You won't see tomorrow's Sunday." Li Wenzheng was taken aback. "Is that supposed to be a joke? Who would dare kill me? The sovereign fined me a year's salary, but then sent my parents an amount equivalent to 3 years' salary. Do you know what that means?" Ignoring Shen Lang, he ordered his men to take Jin Milan with them. However, at that moment, rapid hoofbeats sounded. They were dressed in black, each one wearing a mask. These were the experts from the Blackwater platform, directly under the sovereign's command, belonging to no other authority. Li Wenzheng was shocked. "What's this? Blackwater platform's experts being deployed. Where is Li Wenzheng?" Li Wenzheng hurried forward, eager to have the Blackwater platform assist him in handling the case, to capture Jin Milan and the others. However, after confirming it was Li Wenzheng, the people from Blackwater platform ordered him, "Lord Li Wenzheng, please disperse everyone." A moment later, Blackwater platform informed Father Jin, "Whatever happens next, pretend as if you have seen nothing." Upon hearing this, Li Wenzheng trembled all over, and the leader of Blackwater platform directly commanded, "Take Li Wenzheng away for execution by dismemberment." Li Wenzheng was going mad, shouting, "It's unjust. The king had just pardoned me. How could the king's decree change overnight?" However, this rapid turn of events was merely a minor scheme by Shen Lang. It turned out that half a month earlier, Shen Lang had already started to make arrangements. He sent dozens of people with a vast amount of gold coins to the capital. According to his investigation, the year Li Wenzheng graduated as the top scholar, he had fallen for one of the top courtesans in the capital, Yuan Yuan. To become a favored guest of Yuan Yuan, Li Wenzheng even outshone all his rivals, and wrote an exceptionally beautiful poem, winning the top honor. Li Wenzheng thought this would win him the beauty's favor, but unbeknownst to him, Yuan Yuan did not care for him at all. Though he spent an entire night in the same room as Yuan Yuan, nothing happened, and when he wished wished to see her again. She refused to meet him. Just then, after the publication of Shen Lang's boundless romantic affairs, Yuan saw it and came to Shen Lang asking for a poem, hoping to use it to gain an opportunity to perform at the Empress Dowager's birthday celebration. A scheme then formed in Shen Lang's mind. Next, Shen Lang anonymously sold a poem titled When Will the Moon Be to Yuan, which led her to win first place and gain the opportunity to perform in the palace. He also designed a set of sexy and splendid dresses as performance costumes for Yuan, resulting in a sensational appearance. Lastly, Shen Lang bribed a painter to depict Yuan in the painting of the Empress Dowager's birthday celebration in an exceptionally dazzling manner, outshining all others. Hearing of Yuan's talent and seeing her beauty in the album, the king summoned Yuan to the palace. As a famous courtesan, Yuan easily won the king's favor, leading the king to lose control, and something happened between them. At this time, the story of Li Wenzheng's poem for the beauty reached the king's ears. It was rumored that Li Wenzheng's poem had moved Yuan, and he had become her favored guest. Thus, the king flew into a rage, feeling deceived, and immediately ordered an investigation of Li Wenzheng's residence. They found a portrait of Yuan, and most crucially, under Li Wenzheng's bed, they discovered a figurine pierced with silver needles, bearing the birth date of the crown prince. It turned out Li Wenzheng had once been punished by the crown prince and harbored resentment towards him. The king had intended to deal with Li Wenzheng slowly, but the news leaked to the crown prince. The king made a decisive decision, dispatching experts from Blackwater platform without any decree or charges to execute Li Wenzheng by dismemberment on the spot. Li Wenzheng cursed Shen Lang. Shen Lang, what have you done that led the king to kill me? Tell me, so I can die understanding. Shen Lang, looking innocent, replied, Brotherly, I really don't know what you're talking about. How can I not understand a word? Brotherly, I spend all day at home fooling around with my wife, my back aching. How could I have the time or energy to harm you? However, no matter how Li Wenzheng screamed, the outcome did not change in the slightest. Following the king's decree, Li Wenzheng would be dismembered while being kept alive with ginseng soup until he entered the capital and could finally die. After Shen Lang thoroughly sent that inspector to hell, he returned home and sang about how lonely it is to be invincible. Then he got close to Jean Mulan, suggesting a riddle for Jean Mulan to guess. Jean Mulan outright refused, believing Shen Lang's riddles were never serious. But seeing Shen Lang's disappointed look, the soft-hearted Jean Mulan eventually agreed. Shen Lang, seizing the opportunity, said, In murk and ink seeking a white crown, a wife's charitable heart kindness shown. Today breeds a change anew, hearts entwined under the moon's glow true. Guess what the riddle is? Jean Mulan, who was pondering, was suddenly interrupted by the butler bursting in. He reported to Jean Mulan, the cavalry from the count's mansion has been detained. The deputy leader of 1,000 households from Salt Mountain in charge refuses to release them, demanding Shen Lang to personally plead with him. Shen Lang was curious about who this deputy leader of 1,000 households was. After an explanation from the butler, it turned out to be Lin Mo, the son of the Lin family head who had initially tricked him, who had passed the military examination and had just taken office as the deputy leader of 1,000 households at Salt Mountain 2 days ago. Indeed, it's a small world full of enemies. Shen Lang hadn't even sought them out for trouble, yet now they were coming to him seeking death. A mere deputy leader of 1,000 households naturally wouldn't dare to oppose the count's mansion of the mythical turtle. However, Lin Mo was different because, like Shen Lang, he had also married up. He became the son-in-law of Peaceful Stability Count Wu Chong, soon to marry the 300-pound third daughter of Peaceful Stability Count's mansion, thinking this was the only way for his Lin family to stand against Shen Lang. But in other respects, Lin Mo did not lose out. Wu Chong was the second army commander of the province of the Southern Journey, controlling tens of thousands of troops, his power not inferior to the mythical turtle count's mansion. Wu Chong directly promoted Lin Mo to the position of leader of 1,000 households. Thinking of this, Lin Mo laughed heartily. As for marrying the 300-pound count's daughter, he conveniently forgot about it. Now, what he most wanted was not to see Shen Lang, but to show off in front of Wang Lian. Back when Wang Lian had passed the imperial examination, he had not hesitated to show off in front of him. It was just a pity that Wang Lian had vanished from the face of the earth. At this moment, his subordinates reported to him, Shen Lang has arrived. A moment later, in the side hall, Shen Lang outwardly greeted him, but inwardly mocked. Others live off women, enjoying delicious and fine dishes, yet what you're indulging in is a bowl of lard. And Lin Mo began to put on airs, to which Shen Lang directly said, Li Wenzheng is dead. These words instantly made Lin Mo's eyes bulge in shock. Before he could recover, he heard Shen Lang request, there must be more to the incident of harming the common people. Please, Lord Lin, release the innocent cavalry of my mythical turtle count's mansion. Lin Mo immediately refused. They trampled someone to death, but won't admit it. We're moving to torture for interrogation tonight. Shen Lang frowned. Your leader of 1,000 households doesn't have the authority to torture, does it? Among those trampled to death were family members of soldiers from the leader of 1,000 households, so I suspect it was murder. I am qualified to conduct torture. Seeing Shen Lang remain silent, Lin Mo, smugly smiling, said, I hear the leader of this cavalry is a female knight named Jean Sword Lady. I really don't don't have the heart to be harsh, but that doesn't mean they can't be spared. Lin Mo gave Shen Lang two options. First, take the people by force, but that would be rebellion. Second, Shen Lang needs to bow and apologize to me in public. On the day Tianheng died, my father had even prepared his will and told me to hide in the capital and not return. Do you know how much shame I felt? So, it was clear Lin Mo wanted revenge. The first option was, of course, not viable. Lin Mo, full of confidence, knew that the king saw the mythical turtle count's mansion as a thorn in his side. Taking such action would give the king a reason to move against the mythical turtle count's mansion, but having Shen Lang publicly apologize was even less likely. Shen Lang had already figured out how to deal with this guy. With that, Shen Lang took his leave. I'll go back and think it over and give you an answer tomorrow. How about that? Lin Mo agreed, confident that Shen Lang had no other options, and waiting to humiliate Shen Lang thoroughly. After leaving the leader of 1,000 households, Shen Lang, through this round of conversation, understood the moment the king's signal comes. It seems peaceful stability count might also be inclined to join hands with Jang Chong, plus the mythical turtle count's mansion's sworn enemy, Jin High Count. Well then, is this going to be an ambush from all sides? But Shen Lang was not panicked at all. To break through this tactic is truly effortless. Meanwhile, at another mansion, the Wang Lian whom Lin Mo missed so much was actually not dead. Shen Lang didn't let the mad dog bite him to death. It was just rabies that made him suffer unbearably. He could only rely on Shen Lang's painkillers to barely survive. When Wang Lian saw Shen Lang, he threw himself at him, not to attack Shen Lang, but to beg for painkillers. His hatred for Shen Lang had been completely worn away. Shen Lang said, "You can have the painkillers, but you need to do something for me." Wang Lian chose to agree without hesitation. Shen Lang told Wang Lian, "Your good friend Lin Mo is back, anxiously wanting to see you. So, give him a surprise. Get a little drunk on wine tonight, and it's quite normal to bite him on the neck in a moment of passion, then fall asleep in each other's arms. How about this story?" Wang Lian felt a chill in his heart. As night fell, Lin Mo was reuniting with his father, promising him, "The glorious days for our Lin family have arrived. As for that Shen Lang, don't worry, I'll take care of it." Lin Mo's father believed in his son. As they were preparing to return to the Lin residence, a commotion arose. A servant reported to Lin Mo that someone claiming to be his close friend wanted to barge in. Hearing Wang Lian shouts, Lin Mo immediately ordered not to stop him, thinking this triumphant return is finally going to be perfect. Soon, seeing the disheveled Wang Lian, Lin Mo couldn't feel better. Wang Lian used to show off in front of him all the time. He then feigned concern and asked Wang Lian, "Why are you like this? Brother Wang, we are close friends. Why be so formal? How can I accept such a grand gesture?" Wang Lian's acting exploded, spilling all the details, including the incident of cuckolding City Lord Lu. So now he was seeking Lin Mo shelter, or else he would surely be killed by the City Lord Lu. Lin Mo was first surprised, then asked Wang Lian, "Do you want to work as a clerk by my side?" Wang Lian immediately addressed Lin Mo as his lord, which immensely pleased Lin Mo. Nothing was more satisfying than having someone who used to be above you become your servant. Then, a delighted Lin Mo hosted a welcome feast for Wang Lian. Wang Lian hadn't forgotten the task Shen Lang had given him. After seeing Lin Mo drink the doctored wine and become dizzy, wanting to say something but passing out instead, Wang Lian laughed, opened Lin Mo's collar, opened his mouth wide, and bit down on Lin Mo. The bitten Lin Mo woke up the next day, only to find the man Wang Lian in his bed, which terrified him to the core. He demanded to know why Wang Lian was in his bed, unaware that Shen Lang had secretly dispatched someone in the name of the Salt Mountain leader of 1,000 households to send a message to the Lin residence. When Wu Xiaolin arrived at the leader of 1,000 households, he happened to witness the disgraceful scene between Lin Mo and Wang Lian, shocking the old man nearly to death. Just as Lin Mo tried to explain it was a misunderstanding, Shen Lang had already arrived, exclaiming, my eyes are going to be blinded. I'm still a child. How could I be subjected to the scene?" Lin Mo had no time to deal with Shen Lang, facing Wu Xiaolin's stern accusations. "Lin Mo, how shameless can you be?" He pushed Wang Lian away, hurriedly dressed himself, then knelt on the ground, pleading innocence to Wu Xiaolin. "Uncle, I was framed." But then Wang Lian turned the tables. "Sir, please stand up for me. These past few days, Lin Mo has been sending people to find me. I thought it was for something important, but this beast, upon meeting, drugged me, and then, before Wu Xiaolin could respond, Shen Lang stepped forward. "Wang Lian, although you are my enemy, I am naturally just and cannot stand by and watch this tragedy unfold. I will send guards from the mythical turtle count's mansion to protect you as we accuse him, to the governor's mansion to file a complaint." By now, Lin Mo knew it was Shen Lang setting him up. Of course, Shen Lang wouldn't admit it. "I came today to give you my response, but I didn't expect to witness such an eye-scorching scene. Brother Wang Lian, let's go to file a complaint." Wu Xiaolin immediately asked Shen Lang to wait. "Shen Lang, what do you want?" Shen Lang inwardly smiled. Several cavalrymen from the mythical turtle count's mansion were detained by Lin Mo for no reason. "I'm here to get them back." Wu Xiaolin got the hint, instructing Lin Mo to release the men. Hearing this, Lin Mo was furious but had to face reality and release them. Shortly after, all the detained cavalrymen from the count's mansion were freed. Shen Lang added a final blow to Lin Mo. "Lord Lin Mo, Wang Lian is too pitiful. I'm worried you might kill him to silence him, so I'm taking him with with me as well. So, taking Wang Lian with him, they left. However, Shen Lang wouldn't let Lin Zhuo off so easily. Bigger plans awaiting Lin Zhuo. At this time, Wu Xiaolin sensed something was amiss. He noticed that Wang Lian seemed to fear the light, and then, seeing Lin Zhuo seeking help, Wu Xiaolin, being the elder brother of peaceful stability Count Wu Xiaochong, naturally knew Wu Xiaochong well. He prepared a series of excuses and plans for Lin Zhuo, demanding triple the original amount of money. However, Lin Zhuo didn't notice that Wu Xiaolin's eyes occasionally rested on a wound on his neck. On the other side, inside the mythical turtle count's mansion, Shen Lang signaled to Father Jean, "I have fulfilled my mission," and brought back Jean Sword Lady and the others. Father Jean was extremely satisfied, but the comparison made him lament his own foolish son's shortcomings. At this moment, Shen Lang began to inquire of Father Jean, father-in-law, that Wu Xiaolin seems a bit unusual. Father Jean shared the information with Shen Lang. Wu Xiaolin, over 20 years ago, competed with Peaceful Stability Count for the position of heir. His failure was due to his inability to produce offspring, lacking an heir. Before Shen Lang could sympathize with his unfortunate situation, the steward came to report, "Master, son-in-law, there are villagers and elders from the estate asking to see you." Shen Lang wondered which family was causing trouble this time, and followed to the outside of the count's mansion. Soon after understanding the situation, it turned out the reason for the villagers' commotion was a significant harvest of silkworm cocoons, yet not a single merchant from mythical Turtle City was willing to buy them. This shocked Shen Lang and the others, knowing that out of the 100,000 farmers in the mythical Turtle Count's estate, 70,000 relied on sericulture for their livelihood. If the cocoons couldn't be sold, it meant these 70,000 people would lose their means of subsistence, leading to major trouble. Moreover, a quarter of the Count's mansion's annual income came from taxes on the cocoons. The Count's mansion's finances would also be in dire straits, possibly leading to a complete breakdown in the financial chain. Now, the issue was that cocoons couldn't be stored for long. They had to be processed within a certain period, or else the moths would break through the cocoons from the inside. The villagers told Shen Lang, "The Su family and the Lin family both refused to buy our cocoons, and the silk merchants from other counties who usually come every year haven't shown up either. The Su family head and his daughter even said that if they were to buy our cocoons, it would have to be the son-in-law himself going to negotiate with them." Shen Lang understood it was another plot against him, but he reassured the villagers, "I will handle it. You really aren't afraid of death, are you? Lin Zhuo was just played by me to near death, and yet the Su family dares to set a trap for me." An hour later at the Su residence, Shen Lang arrived and calmly asked them, "So, you have the guts to provoke me again?" It turns out the Su family had previously used Shen Lang's recipe for golden silk, which, after being presented to the crown prince, was greatly liked, earning the Su family a royal inscription. Their demand this time was simple, for Shen Lang to hand over the recipes for purple and rainbow dyes. In return, they would buy the silkworm cocoons, but at half price. They also advised Shen Lang not to resist, as the entire province of the southern journey would not buy their cocoons. They gave Shen Lang 3 days to consider. Shen Lang scoffed, wishful thinking, and then turned to leave. Later, back at the Count's mansion, Shen Lang, having shed his worries from the Su residence, cheerfully played chess with Jean Mulan. However, Jean Mulan suddenly questioned Shen Lang, "Husband, what were you doing last night?" Shen Lang broke into a cold sweat. "I didn't do anything, just teaching little Bing to read." "That's called teaching? Since when does teaching involve embracing and mouth-to-mouth? By the way, you seem to have said something about me. I didn't quite catch it clearly. Something about occupying the toilet but not using it. Otherwise, little Bing's child would already be several months old." Shen Lang immediately tried to deflect blame onto little Bing, adopting the demeanor of a scoundrel. "My lady, it was all her. All Bing are coming to provoke me. You know I always keep myself clean." However, Jean Mulan was not persuaded, clenching her fist and advancing towards Shen Lang. The next moment, screams echoed across the Count's mansion. The 3 days given by Su Qianqian quickly dwindled to just 1 day. Rumors spread new every day across the domain. Shen Lang sought out another silk business, the Lin family. But given the previous incident with Lin Zhuo, the Lin family certainly would not help Shen Lang. They even passed the information to the Su family, urging them to remain vigilant against Shen Lang. Su Qianqian could hardly suppress her smirk, confident that Shen Lang would have no choice but to plead with her. As expected, with no one buying the cocoons for a long time, the villagers could no longer hold out. Soon the cocoons would be ruined, and they came en masse to the Count's mansion begging Shen Lang for help. Shen Lang assured them, no matter what humiliating conditions the Su family proposes, I, Shen Lang, will agree to them, just so everyone can have food to eat and money to earn. Hearing Shen Lang's words, the villagers were deeply moved, thanking Shen Lang for his great kindness. Shortly after at the Su residence, Shen Lang handed over the formulas for the purple and rainbow dyes to Su Qianqian. Seeing this, Su Qianqian wanted to burst into laughter, feeling she had finally won a round. But Su Qianqian stated, "To buy your cocoons, this is not enough. You must apologize to me for the harm you've caused me in the past." Shen Lang complied. "Qianqian, I was wrong, truly wrong. Please, for the sake of our past, forgive me this time. Let me off." However, Su Qianqian, seizing the opportunity to demand more, insisted that Shen Lang burn all copies copies of Boundless Romantic Affairs. Shen Lang argued reasonably. I can publicly burn Boundless Romantic Affairs, but you must purchase the cocoons at the full price. Su Qianqian laughed. 60% of the original price. Take it or leave it. And the book must be burned at our Su residence. I want to watch you burn your own book. Left with no choice, Shen Lang agreed. Subsequently, Shen Lang, as promised, personally set fire to thousands of copies of Boundless Romantic Affairs in front of Su Qianqian. The Su family finally began to purchase the cocoons, although only at 60% of the price, forcing the farmers to sell with tears in their eyes. Even so, Su Qianqian only bought 300,000 pounds of cocoons, announcing to everyone, rest assured, we will buy the remaining cocoons as well, but still need to negotiate with Mr. Shen Lang. Su Qianqian was determined to torment Shen Lang thoroughly this time. Upon receiving the first batch of cocoons, Su's workshop began to work overtime, boiling water for silk extraction. The workshop's temperature soared above 45 degrees Celsius, enveloping every area, including the cocoon storage room. For some unknown reason, the cocoons suddenly caught fire, and despite all efforts to douse it, the fire was unstoppable, eventually consuming everything in a massive blaze. Meanwhile, from the tower of the mythical Turtle Count's mansion, Shen Lang watched the direction of the blazing fire, feeling exceedingly pleased. The night before Su's family began purchasing the cocoons, Shen Lang had secretly filled some of them with white phosphorus, which ignites at temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius. By mixing these phosphorus-laden cocoons into Su's workshop, the outcome was inevitable. While explaining the use of white phosphorus to Jean Mulan, Shen Lang also took the opportunity to grow closer, even managing to steal a kiss on Jean Mulan's cheek. This time, Shen Lang won big. Not only did he win the people's hearts and kiss Jean Mulan, but he also ensured the destruction of the Su family. All his actions, including the dye formula, were merely diversions. At the time of the fire, the head of the Su family was hosting a banquet, celebrating their acquisition of the mythical Turtle Count's land cocoons at a mere fraction of their value. Su Qianqian noticed something amiss when the distant fire caught her eye, pointing towards their workshop. An unbelievable thought crossed her mind, which was confirmed the next moment when several servants rushed to report, the workshop is on fire. Everything's gone. The head of the Su family couldn't believe it, questioning how a fire could start in a place filled with water tanks and vapor, even going as far as to berate the messenger. The servant, trembling, suggested, Master, you'll see if you go look. With no other choice, Su Qianqian ordered the carriage prepared. Upon arriving at the workshop, they were stunned into silence by the sight. Decades of the Su family's industry were reduced to ashes. An agitated Su family head demanded of the workers, why didn't you put out the fire? The workers, feeling wronged, explained, we couldn't. Several storage rooms caught fire simultaneously, and it was a strange fire. Water couldn't extinguish it. The head of the Su family was devastated, completely numb from shock, and immediately blamed Shen Lang for the destruction of his workshop. He demanded the city lord Lu to bring guards and arrest Shen Lang at the count's mansion. The city lord Lu outright refused, questioning the Su family head for evidence. At this moment, he truly felt the ruthlessness of Shen Lang. The refusal from the city lord Lu only fueled the Su family head's agitation. He exclaimed, are you afraid? I'm not. Behind me stand the prefecture and the governor's offices, and I have the prince's calligraphy. Su Qianqian quickly comforted her father, saying now was not the time to pursue blame. They had already taken a significant deposit from Western region merchants and would have to compensate if they couldn't deliver on time. Though the Su family's main workshop was destroyed, the prestige of their brocade and embroidery pavilion must not fall. Losing their reputation and credibility would truly be the end. This sobered the Su family head, who prepared to discuss borrowing a workshop with the Lin family. However, the head of the Lin family had already arrived, offering his workshop to the Su family unconditionally, on the condition that they unite against Shen Lang afterward. Despite Su Qianqian securing the Lin Mo workshop, the Su family faced a more severe challenge. Having aggressively expanded this year, they had nearly bought up all the cocoons in the province of the Southern Journey. Now, with the cocoons gone in the fire, they would have to buy from the mythical Turtle Count's mansion to fulfill their contract with the Western region merchants. The mythical Turtle Count's mansion had just enough cocoons, 3 million pounds, along with Su's silk inventory, to barely meet the demand. So, in an ironic twist, they found themselves needing Shen Lang's help. Inside the mythical Turtle Count's mansion, a young maid struck a seductive pose for Shen Lang to model. Shen Lang didn't disappoint, creating a portrait that was not just lifelike but beautified and filtered. As they excitedly discussed the artwork, the butler informed Shen Lang, Sir, Su Qianqian has arrived. Hearing this, Shen Lang's lips curved into a smirk. Finally, she has come. A moment later, in the grand hall of the mythical Turtle Count's mansion, Su Qianqian was dressed stunningly beautiful. Her attitude had also done a 180-degree turn towards Shen Lang. Shen Lang smiled inwardly at the sight of Su Qianqian's attire. This is exactly how I described her in Boundless Romantic Affairs. It's like a cosplay of the real world. Su Qianqian, you really know how to play along. Do you think this is how I wish to see you in my heart? Su Qianqian then took out Shen Lang's Boundless Romantic Affairs. Master Shen, I've read read this book from cover to cover 11 times. It's excellently written. The poems and stories I wrote before are simply embarrassing in comparison. When will the second volume be released? I'm eagerly looking forward to it." Shen Lang was calmly drinking tea, unmoved. Seeing this, Su Qianqian's tone became even more coquettish, pleading pitifully with Shen Lang. "Master Shen, a single night of marriage equals 100 days of grace. I realize my mistake and admit my wrongdoing. Please, forgive me." Shen Lang simply gestured for Su Qianqian to sit down and then got straight to the point. "I know why you're here and that you have no intention of repenting. You're just trying to temporarily overcome the Su family's difficulties and save its reputation. But I don't mind. Business is business. After all." Su Qianqian maintained a smile throughout, neither explicitly denying nor admitting anything, but made her intention clear. "We are willing to buy 3 million pounds of cocoons at 1.5 times the price." However, Shen Lang immediately asked for triple the price, catching Su Qianqian off guard. "Such a lion's mouth. With triple the price, you're looking to drain all the money we have left." Of course, Su Qianqian would not agree. When she tried to argue her point with Shen Lang, he lightly said, "If you don't buy, we can set up our own workshop." Su Qianqian remained calm. "Do you have a workshop? Do you have workers?" Shen Lang responded, "After the Su family goes bankrupt, won't we? As long as there are workers, there will be workshops. Your workers will become ours." This completely broke Su Qianqian's composure. She stood up to question, "Shen Lang, are you really leaving no way out for the Su family?" She also made it clear to Shen Lang, the decisive battle to besiege the mythical turtle count's mansion is about to begin. As long as you agree to the 1.5 times price, I can ensure your parents and brother will be safe. Upon this, Shen Lang issued an order to leave, clearly unwilling to continue the discussion. Su Qianqian panicked and raised the price to twice the original amount, but Shen Lang still did not agree. Frustrated, Su Qianqian tore up boundless romantic affairs. Considering the price of fresh cocoons was 20 copper coins per pound, and 1 gold coin could buy about 100 pounds, buying 3 million pounds of golden cocoons at the original price would cost only 30,000 gold coins. Now, Shen Lang had raised the price to 90,000 gold coins, which was the limit the Su family could afford by mortgaging their properties and shops. Shen Lang was determined to drain the last drop of blood from the Su family. Su Qianqian understood this very well, but had no choice but to agree to Shen Lang's demands. "Triple it is then. All for you. Shen Lang, take this money with you to the grave." The Su family mortgaged over a dozen shops and their house, borrowed 60,000 gold coins from the Hidden Origin Society, and finally gathered enough money to buy the 3 million pounds of cocoons. The people were immensely grateful to Shen Lang, and the Count's mansion earned 18,000 gold coins in taxes alone, achieving a win-win situation with the residents of the territory. Meanwhile, Lin Mo, turned into a mad dog, was frantically attacking the mythical turtle Count's mansion. Under Wu Xiaoling's strategizing, he smoothly passed the challenges of peaceful stability Count Wu Xiaochong and even got promoted to Northern Guard Marquis Vanguard Commander. Returning to mythical Turtle City, Lin Mo devoted himself to carrying out his father-in-law's arrangements, causing trouble at the borders of mythical turtle Count's mansion's territory without rest. Whether they were villagers crossing the border or soldiers, he captured them all. Lin Mo, who was severely tricked by Shen Lang, had become a complete mad dog, viciously biting at mythical turtle Count's mansion. Several dozen conflicts had erupted in a few days, but each time a situation was about to escalate, it was forcefully suppressed by Jean Mulan. But Lin Mo wasn't the only pressure mythical turtle Count's mansion faced. It included the pressure from established noble leader Distant Guard Marquis Su Nan, the lady of mythical turtle Count's mansion's own brother, who betrayed mythical turtle Count harshly. When the new policy winds blew, he tentatively asked to resign due to illness, which the sovereign granted. Recently, the sovereign ordered his restoration as the Grand General of the army and appointed him as the protector of the Crown Prince, which he eagerly accepted and immediately entered the capital, directly causing a significant blow to mythical turtle Count. At the same time, Jang Chong was making connections everywhere, creating more enemies and difficulties for mythical turtle Count. For instance, he went to Northern Guard Marquis Nangong Ao, one of the 5 great leaders of the Yu Kingdom's military and a martial arts master. Jang Chong's purpose was to persuade Northern Guard Marquis' heir, Nangong Xia, to lead an army into the southern Ouyang country to quell the rebellion, serving as the vanguard. Among the younger generation of nobles in the south, Tang Yan of Jin Hai Count's mansion is #1 in swordsmanship. In terms of horsemanship and leading troops, it is Nangong Xia, the heir of Northern Guard Marquis, who ranks first. Nangong Ao, though a warrior, instantly understood Jang Chong's intention. If he were to lead by sending out his private army to quell the rebellion in southern Ouyang country, it would give the emperor an excuse to have other nobles also dispatch their private armies. On the battlefield of southern Ouyang country, it would be a chance to significantly weaken the old noble families. Thus, Northern Guard Marquis Nangong Ao, no longer neutral, would become the target of public criticism. However, Jang Chong offered too much. He could make Nangong Ao's second son, Nangong Ping, serve as his chief clerk. After all, Nangong Ping was only a palace Palace Central official, a mere 7th rank officer, while the highest rank for a chief clerk in the prefectural government office was 6th. This meant Nan Dongping could be promoted 3 levels directly. With both the heir and the second son gaining significant advantages, it was difficult for the Northern Guard Marquis to refuse. Then, Jang Chong met with a member of the Hidden Origin Society, Shu Tinyu, and they finalized their plan to deal with the mythical Turtle Count's mansion and the division of spoils that would follow. However, at this moment, Jang Chong's son, Zhang Ji, came to report, "Father, there has been an incident. Su Guangyun's large workshop was completely burned down in a fire. Our reserve funds are gone." It turned out that due to Shen Lang's manipulation, all of Su's family gold was blown up, nearly bankrupting them and thus leaving Jang Chong, who was troubling the mythical Turtle Count's mansion, without subsequent funds. The people from the Hidden Origin Society immediately understood Jang Chong's marriage alliance with the Su family was just for the Su family's money. Therefore, he said, "Lord Jang Chong, my family has a younger sister, 18 this year, beautiful as flowers in the moon." The signal released was clear to Jang Chong, but he showed no interest and instead stood up to leave. On the way out, Zhang Ji asked his father, about the intention of that Hidden Origin Society just now. Jang Chong, knowing what his son wanted to say, interrupted him. "The money from the Hidden Origin Society is not so easily taken. Unless absolutely necessary, do not take it." Zhang Ji also understood, "But father, the operation of becoming the glamorous province subordinate commander is about to be scheduled, and it requires a lot of gold coins. If the Su family can't provide this money, it will delay important matters." Hearing this, Jang Chong stopped in his tracks and countered Zhang Ji with a question. "Do you truly like Su Qianqian?" Zhang Ji was momentarily stunned, then nodded slightly. So, Jang Chong also told his son, "Don't take breaking off an engagement lightly. It's too damaging to one's reputation. Su Qianqian is a formidable woman and can certainly be a virtuous wife for you. Give the Su family another chance. As long as their family name stands, they will surely overcome this crisis. As for the money I need for my operations, we can have the Su family borrow from the Hidden Origin Society. But if the Su family doesn't get through this crisis, then they won't be of any value." Suddenly, Jang Chong asked his son, "Who is more skilled in martial arts, you or Jin Mulan?" Zhang Ji thought for a moment. It should be evenly matched. Jang Chong then planned for Zhang Ji to go and spar with the martial fanatic Tang Yan, and he must give it his all. It was essential to confirm if Tang Yan was as strong as rumored. The Northern Guard Marquis' house, Distant Guard Marquis' house, Jin High Count's mansion, and the Hidden Origin Society all wanted a piece of the mythical Turtle Count's mansion. In such a critical moment, Shen Lang was busy painting. It turned out that Jin Mulan was jealous after seeing the portrait Shen Lang had painted for a maid and wanted one for herself. Shen Lang did not miss this opportunity. Using painting as an excuse, he kept asking Jin Mulan to pose in enticing positions. But then, the steward came to report, "Miss Su Jianting from the Distant Guard Marquis' house requests an audience." Shen Lang was infuriated by the interruption. The names Su Jianting and Distant Guard Marquis' house were taboo in this household. Su Jianting was not only Mulan's cousin, but also her betrothed in a childhood engagement. However, 8 years ago, the marriage contract was torn up. Since then, the relationship between the two families had completely cooled, almost to the point of a break. Shen Lang did not hesitate to add his name to the list of enemies. "This man is a former rival and love of mine." Moments later, in the Count's mansion's hall, when Su Jianting saw Jin Mulan coming, he was immediately attracted by her beauty and instantly regretted the tearing of their marriage contract years ago. As for Shen Lang, upon seeing Su Jianting, his displeasure was written all over his face. After both parties had seated, Mother Jin also expressed her dissatisfaction with Su Jianting. "Are you here to mock our Count's mansion?" Su Jianting gave an awkward snort and explained his main purpose. "My grandmother misses Mother Jin and Jin Mulan. She would like to invite them to visit." Mother Jin clearly understood the underlying meaning. "They want me and my daughter to take refuge there." Mother Jin firmly refused. "Now in life, I am a person of the Jin family, and in death, I will be a ghost of the Jin family. The moment you made that decision years ago, I was no longer a daughter of the Su family." Father Jin was moved by her words. Su Jianting didn't say anything further, but turned his gaze to Jin Mulan. "I would like to spar with her." Jin Mulan sought Shen Lang's opinion. Shen Lang knew the real purpose of the Su family was to test Jin Mulan. However, Shen Lang did not refuse. The next moment, the two in the courtyard began their intense duel. Shen Lang, using his ability to analyze, noticed that Jin Mulan had become much stronger than when she fought Tianheng. Even so, Jin Mulan seemed to struggle a bit against Su Jianting's attacks. It appeared that Su Jianting's martial arts skills should not be underestimated. After several rounds of competition, Su Jianting clasped his fists. "Cousin, you have my thanks. I once crossed swords with the martial fanatic Tang Yan. His move, Meteor from Beyond the Heavens, I faced 10 times, but could not withstand even once." After saying this, he bid farewell to Mother Jin and the others. Jin Mulan, wiping the sweat from her face, remained silent. After seeing Father Jin and Mother Jin leave, Shen Lang came forward to check on the injuries in Jin Mulan's hands. Jin Mulan threw herself into Shen Lang's arms, showing her vulnerability to him for the first time. Husband, I couldn't even defeat Su Jianting. How can I defeat the even stronger martial fanatic Tang Yan? If I lose to Tang Yan, then we would have lost 1 out of 3 challenges, and we might lose the Isle of Gold Mountain forever. Shen Lang held Jean Mulan tightly. My love, I promise you, you will win the battle against Tang Yan. In the struggle for the Isle of Gold Mountain, we will be victorious. I will train you to be an unparalleled master. Actually, the feud between Jin High Count's mansion and the mythical Turtle Count's mansion originated 180 years ago. At that time, the Jin family had a man who was resurrected from the dead. In just 5 years, he transformed from a nobody into a top expert. He led a large army to fight in the south and the north, thrashed Wu country, crushed Chu country, and almost never tasted defeat. At the age of 39, he became the crown prince's protector and the grand general, expanding the Jin family's territory to 5,000 square kilometers. Compared to the Jin family at that time, Jin High Marquis seemed dim and was even demoted to a count. The Isle of Gold Mountain was originally the territory of Jin High Marquis, but a group of very powerful pirates took over the island. Count Jin Zhou of the mythical turtle led a large army and beat those pirates out, reclaiming dozens of coastal islands and ending the chaos at sea. To commend Jin Zhou, the monarch of that generation granted the Isle of Gold Mountain to the Jin family. Later on, as the Jin family's fortunes waned, the people of Jin High Count's mansion grew stronger with each generation. In the battle for the Isle of Gold Mountain, they almost fought their brains out. The fortune of Jin High Count's mansion has continued to this day. In this generation of the Tang family, there is Tang Yun, the third top scholar in the imperial examination, and Tang Yan, the #1 young master in the south. In this battle for the Isle of Gold Mountain, the Tang family is almost certain to win. So, Jean Mulan uncertainly asked Shen Lang, "Really?" Shen Lang countered Jean Mulan, "Humph, what's wrong? You don't believe your husband?" Jean Mulan hugged Shen Lang again and said, "I believe, in my heart, my husband is capable of anything." Shen Lang then overstepped. Then, "My lady, you might as well not close the window when you bathe tonight. Your husband definitely won't peek." This made Jean Mulan immediately leave Shen Lang's embrace, visibly annoyed. "It was so romantic just now, and you had to ruin the mood thinking about those things." Inside Peaceful Stability Marquis' mansion, Peaceful Stability Marquis was originally discussing the profits after dealing with the mythical turtle count when suddenly his third son rushed in to tell him, "Lin Zhua has rabies and is bound to die." Moreover, Lin Zhua, who showed symptoms, not only bit me but also infected a few women in the house at some point. Enraged, Jing and Marquis had all the infected people captured, including his own son and concubines. Wu Zhaoyin, who was in charge of the capture, glanced at them and then ordered the guards to act. The next moment, torches ignited the wood, and then the door was sealed shut. They intended to burn the oxygen to suffocate everyone to death, but unseen by others, Wu Zhaoyin revealed a satisfied smile. "So it really is rabies. What a good method." This time, so many of Wu Zhaozhong's family members died, saving me a lot of effort. The next day, outside the mythical turtle count's mansion, on a small path patrolled by Jean Sword Lady, Lin Zhua was lying in ambush. He felt that Shen Lang seemed to care a lot about this woman, so he decided to capture Jean Sword Lady, not only to torture her severely but also to infect her with rabies. Unexpectedly, in the next moment, a long sword pierced his heart. Struggling, he turned his head and saw Peaceful Stability Marquis' adopted son, Wu Yuanbao. "Because of you, out of the count's 9 sons, 3 have died, and among the 13 concubines, 4 have died." So, Lin Zhua's fate need not be mentioned. Meanwhile, at Jin High Count's mansion, they also received a challenge for a duel from Zhang Ji. The absent-minded man in front of them was the famous martial fanatic Tang Yan. Jin High Count told him that he must give his all in this match. Tang Yan absent-mindedly responded. His gaze was fixed on an ant on the table, admiring its strength to lift over 50 times its own weight, something he couldn't do. If he could learn this technique, his martial arts would advance further. A moment later, at Jin High Count's martial arts competition arena, although Zhang Ji had always been outmatched by Shen Lang, he was still very strong. He passed the martial scholar exam at 17 and became the commander of the mythical Turtle City's defense army in his 20s, holding the rank of guerrilla general. Upon arriving in mythical Turtle City, he immediately challenged Tian Heng and defeated him with one move. However, facing Tang Yan's meteor from beyond the heavens, a move used millions or even tens of millions of times, Zhang Ji tasted defeat, being thrown out with serious injuries on both arms. Tang Yan didn't even glance at him, continuing to ponder how to learn the ant's technique. Afterward, Zhang Ji returned to his father's side, clenching his teeth to report the outcome. 14 years practicing only this sword technique, truly invincible. Jang Chong laughed upon hearing this. In the battle for Isle of Gold Mountain, the mythical Turtle Count's mansion is destined to lose. If the Su family really falls through, then breaking off the engagement is the only option left.